May 22nd. Now, this is a movie that still lives in conversation today. So it has some resonance in terms of second, giving it a second look and trying to reassess it and its defenders and that kind of thing. And that's Alien 3, which was pretty widely derided at the time of its release. But since David Fincher's Star rose, people have been reassessing it and claiming it as an undersung masterpiece. And Dean, you say that's a bunch of bullshit, I bet.
It is. And I did rewatch it yesterday, and I still feel the same way about it. It's drab. It's 2 hours and 30 minutes, but it feels like it's about 5 hours long. You can't. There's even Ripley, even Sigourney Weaver's performance feels kind of distant and kind of phoned in. She never really gets to take charge, except she takes charge of her own destiny, I guess. But the prisoners on the prisoner planet that she's landed on, are indistinguishable from one another, except for Charles S. Dutton and maybe the other guy,
Charles Dance. I mean, Charles Dance before he doesn't have much of a role. He doesn't have much of a role, but
yeah, he gets dispatched pretty quickly. But and then there's the guy that was the British guy that played the pub denizen that tells the crazy joke in American Werewolf in London. I don't know that actor's name, but he makes a little bit of an impression early on, but he's dispatched as well. It's got an incessant music score that's very irritating. And then you look at the visual design of the first two. They're distinctive. They're colorful. There's great art direction. And this one, because it's a prison planet, I guess they didn't sink a lot of money into it, so it looks I guess suitably run down. But it's not what we go to alien movies for. Or we didn't, then at least. And even the alien attacks, which since they have 25 people since the alien has 25 people to eat, there's a lot of them, and they get very dull too. Even though they made the alien into some kind of four-legged beast that was running around like a crazy dog or something. I guess they enlivened it in that way, but and there's some interesting special effects in it here and there, but generally it's just a big blah, boring film.
I remember seeing it at the time. I remember at the time being in the minority, saying this movie is flawed, but this movie it does work. But no one's going to like it. I remember even thinking that, I'm like 14 years old, and I realized this is a good movie, but no one's going to like this. Because frankly, that movie should not, there should be, even Alien Covenant, all these other ones, whatever. After Aliens, there should be no other Alien movies.
That's
true. No Alien Resurrection, no Alien 3.
I agree. I agree 100%.
Because Aliens brings the story to a natural conclusion.
It does.
So already you're dealing with that handicap. So dealing with that handicap, because basically Alien 3 from the first scene shatters, the happy ending of Aliens.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Newt is dead, and Hicks is dead. Bishop is, just a talking head. So it shatters your childhood innocence of Aliens. And that's kind of what I got off on when I first saw it. The scene where Ripley does the autopsy on Newt is gut-wrenching. It has the best death in any of the Alien movies, including the Prometheus and Covenant, and that is Charles S. Dutton. He has the best death in any Alien movie ever.
Really? Why is that? Because he just
I just love the showdown between him and the alien.
Yeah, he at least challenges the creature.
I love the showdown. I love he's yelling at the alien. Yeah, it's just an awesome death sequence. The look of the film is good. That's
a better death than the alien popping out of John Hurt's stomach at the dinner table. I mean,
that's not better than that.
Let me chime in when Aaron is done. I want to chime in about this.
That might be okay. That might be the close. It's equivalent. And also, I guess I do like Elliot Goldenthal's score. I divide the first 4 Alien movies, which is really kind of the only ones I really consider the Alien movies. I put them in like music categories. The first Alien is kind of the prog rock edition. James Cameron's is the heavy metal rock and roll edition. This Alien 2 is through and through the grunge album, with Alien Resurrection is the techno album. And so I look at it that way. And as a grunge record, Alien 3 is grunge through and through. And it works. It is obviously not David Fincher's best movie, to the point David Fincher doesn't even acknowledge it. But I don't think I've never.
Out there.
Yeah, I do think
Leo was never better than Poison Ivy, and James Cameron and David Fincher's best movie is Alien 3.
Oh God, no. But it sets the stage that there are great things that come from Fincher. But I think as far as Fincher is concerned, what it says is he is still one of the luckiest people working in movies today. He never really had to struggle. He really, this is your first feature film, regardless of the box office or anything, is astounding. The movie has a problem, and I think Aaron hits on it. When you kill off 2 beloved characters right away, that's not good. Also, having them on a prison planet and where Sigourney Weaver is the only woman, that's a cop-out. I'm sorry. The prison planet's a cop-out of we get this a couple of years later with No Escape. No. This movie's just a cop-out from the get-go. And it just doesn't work. I'm sorry. And then we see that at the end of this one, we get a fourth one of French. We get a French alien movie. Many years later, Resurrection. And then you think that's going to be the end of it. No, they keep coming back like the. No, but this movie was always just, and then this whole idea that Neil Blomkamp was going to make it the proper Alien 3. Thankfully, that's dead in the water. Maybe Chappie killed that finally. But
I think that David Fincher probably did the best he could under the circumstances. And I don't put the blame necessarily at his feet, because he was under, and there were a lot of cooks in that kitchen, and I'm sure everybody was frightened about the direction it was taking to begin with. And I think Fincher works best when he's able to make his movie, which he was able to do with Seven.
It does. Well, let me just say this: it does feel like you mentioned Vincent Ward, who still gets the story credit on the movie.
Yeah,
it does feel like the movie was taken away from Vincent Ward, who may have shot the first 10 or 15 minutes of it, and then given to Fincher to fix. Because it has a kind of a weird, dreamy quality in the first minutes that kind of matches Vincent Ward's modus operandi, but it does feel like a movie that they're desperately trying to save.
Vincent
If
Ward,
anyone, just as a side note, if anyone has ever seen the definitive making of documentary on the Alien Quadrilogy box set, it's kind of it's pretty candid in what went wrong, and literally everyone in the David Fincher obviously did not participate in the documentary, but it's kind of it's the unspoken joke that runs throughout that whole documentary is well, if we knew it was going to be David Fincher, we would have let him do whatever he wanted. It's literally the unspoken thing that goes through the whole making of retrospective documentaries. Like, well, if we knew it was going to be David Fincher, we wouldn't have interfered, but we didn't know it was David Fincher, so we had ideas, and that's kind of like the best thing about that documentary.
I'm sure he thought it was a big break, and he probably regretted the environment in which he was forced to work as soon as he signed on. But you think this is a guy that came from commercials and music videos. He has a real daring visual style, and he's in charge of a franchise that's a big popular moneymaker, and people can put the blame at his feet when it fails. So the fact that he rebounded was by being able to make a true Fincher film is good. It's good for cinema that story ended up that way. Yeah.